What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Mohawk Motors. My name is Jason. Today, I'm going to be showing you what I think is the best way to find your donor vehicle for your LS swap project. I've got two great examples here that I'm going to show you and explain to you why I think these are excellent examples of what you can look for and what you can find. So the first things you need to consider are your local market, right? I live in the Mid-Atlantic, in Maryland to be specific. So it's very easy for me to find trucks and SUVs from the early and even all the way up till the mid 2000s that are for sale cheap. They still run great, but they have usually issues related to the undercarriage. Rust is a strong contributor to being able to find very cheap and even reasonably priced vehicles here in the Mid-Atlantic. The other thing to consider is, what are you really after? You're looking for a good running engine, depending on your plans, maybe a good functional transmission and transfer case as well, maybe not. But always remember, especially when you're looking for drivetrain donors, the uglier, the better, as long as it still runs good. Now, some people have a preference in this aspect, but to me, I don't care what the mileage is. As long as the engine runs good and it has good oil pressure and no weird or unusual noises, it's a winner for me. This one, for example, has 324,000 miles on it. I know tons of people that would instantly just pass that opportunity up. If it runs good and has no bad noises or no signs of abuse, neglect, or things like that, it's still a great donor. I personally believe that once these engines make it past 200,000, if they don't have issues already, they're not gonna have issues. So it's still a great candidate for your swap engine. This one starts right up. It immediately goes to a smooth idle, and it's holding good oil pressure. There's no check engine lights, although in most cases, unless you still detect something wrong with the engine externally, a check engine light can be very simple. And you can even bring a scan tool with you to pull the codes and see if those check engine lights are going to impact what your plans are. Check engine lights for O2 sensors probably aren't going to matter. Check engine lights for NOx sensors are easily addressed while you have the engine out of the vehicle anyway. On the subject of warning lights, man, the more non-drivetrain related warning lights you can find, the better. Tire pressure warning light, maybe the tires are low, maybe there's a problem in the system. Brake warning light, I know in this case, the brake reservoir is empty because all the brake lines are blown out. But you don't need those things. So those warning lights are great bargaining chips to help you get this donor for a better price. Has other small issues, dead battery, oil leaks, doesn't matter as long as it still runs good. Like I said, as long as it starts up, holds good oil pressure, and doesn't make any noise, it's a good drivetrain donor. At the very least, a good engine donor. It's gonna be dirty, that helps you negotiate. But as long as the engine runs good, holds oil pressure, and doesn't make weird noises, it's a good candidate. This one has 235,000 miles on it. I'd be willing to bet it'll run another 235,000 miles before it has any issues, if ever. Put clean oil in it, put a new oil filter on it, and swap it into your project. Okay, great. So now we know what we're looking for, right? We want something with the right engine in it. The engine needs to run good. If we're going to use the transmission too, then we want something with the right transmission in it. But if we're just looking to do our first LS whatever swap, we want a donor vehicle. The uglier the better. If it has other issues, fine. Here's another one. 2000 Silverado 1500. It should have a 5.3 in it. Truck runs, transmission works, four-wheel drive works. Body is completely shot, good doors, maybe one fender, but that's about it. Has a good running 5.3. $1,000 and negotiable on the price. This is the type of thing we're looking for. Person says it runs. Obviously it's ugly as can be. Doesn't matter. We don't need it to be pretty. We're not going to drive it. We just need a good running engine. Says it has about 250,000 miles on it. Hey, I would send this person a message. I'm interested in the truck. Does the engine have any noises in it? When can I come see it? That's the key to this. Set a time, go see the person, take cash, and however you're going to get this thing home. Don't waste people's time, because that's what makes them not want to sell you things and not give you a good price on it. I would be willing to bet I could go see this truck in person. I would go whenever was convenient for the seller, and I would probably buy it for $700 or less. Well, there's another one right next to it, 1500. It needs a rear differential. Doesn't matter to me. I need a good running engine. Says it only has 168,000 miles on it. That's low mileage for a truck this old. I would absolutely go see it as soon as I could, make a cash offer at $600 or $700, and tow the thing home on a trailer. Here's a 2001 1500. Obviously it's been in an accident, frame is bent, only 120,000 miles on the motor. Says the transmission is still good. It's a winner. Go, hear it run, bring it home, do your swap. Excellent donor. Show up in person, bring cash, and see if they'll work with you on the price.
And the key to actually getting these good deals is be serious. Don't waste people's time. Ask 2 or 3 pertinent questions to what you're really interested in. Does it run? Does it have oil pressure? Do you have a title for it? That may or may not be important to you. If the answers are what you want to hear, then schedule a time to go see the thing in person and go with the intention of buying it. Take the money, take whatever you're going to need to be able to get the thing back to your home or shop or wherever you're going to get it to, but don't waste people's time. That's the key here. I can't tell you how many of these donor vehicles I've picked up. I've gone, I've showed up, I've been told that I'm the first person out of 75 or however many that actually came, and came with cash and came with a trailer. And half the time I buy these things for half or 2/3 of what the listed asking price was, because the person is so frustrated, they're just glad you showed up and they want to get it out of there. Be serious, show up, and bring cash, and you'll get these things for significantly less than what the listed asking price is.
Okay, so let me show you these 2 examples and tell you what they actually are. The first one, this is a 2003 Chevy Tahoe. It's got 235,000 miles on it. The most important part, the engine runs great. It doesn't have any unusual noises. It doesn't have any lifter tick. There's no bottom end noises. It's got normal wear and tear on it, weeping oil around the valve cover gaskets, a couple broken off exhaust manifold bolts, and the engine dress cover is missing. But otherwise, it's a totally average, what you would expect truck with 200-some thousand miles on it. The most important part about this, I bought the whole truck running and driving for $500. I have everything I need for a swap. I have the engine, I have the computer, I have the intact, not cut, not messed up, not damaged wire harness. All of the grounds are in place. The fuel system is all in place. If I was swapping this into another vehicle, I could even steal the fuel pump out of the tank and use that in my swap as well. It has vacuum assist brakes. I can borrow the power steering pump to run my other project. It's got an aftermarket intake kit and a throttle body spacer on it. Do they actually make a difference? But they're there. If I don't want them, I could sell them to somebody. Not to mention, I have a good 4L60E transmission. If I were gonna use it, I could. If I'm not, I can sell it to somebody who needs one. People are always looking for 4L60E transmissions. The transfer case, the shift actuator is messed up, but it doesn't matter because I'm not gonna use the transfer case. All I'm after is this right here. And even if I take the rest of the truck to scrap when I'm done, I'll have less than $400 in an engine that I know runs good, that came with everything I need to get it into whatever my project is. Okay, let's take a look at the second example I have here. This one is a 2005 GMC Yukon. It runs and drives also, but the brake system is completely rusted out. There's not a brake line left under this thing. But it doesn't matter to me because I'm not gonna drive it. All I want is the parts out of it. I was able to drive it around here at my house, at the yard from the guy I bought it from. He had a big open field that I was able to drive it in, and it runs and drives and shifts like it should. The only issues are it won't stop. I bought the whole truck for $600. It's got a strong running 5.3 liter engine like I showed you. It's got 325,000 miles on it. But again, I'm not worried about the mileage when there's nothing obviously wrong with the engine. It's clean. Again, it's got the normal wear and tear, weeping oil around the valve covers, a couple broken off exhaust manifold bolts, but everything else is there. I've got the computer, the wire harness. This one even has electric fans that I can use to swap into whatever I'm putting this thing in. And the whole rest of the truck is up for whatever. If I'm gonna use parts and pieces of it, I can. I can sit this in my yard while I'm doing the swap, and if I come across something that I need, I can just go grab it and use it. I'm not hunting through junkyards or looking through Facebook Marketplace trying to find little odds and ends parts that can be a pain in the butt. I'm able to focus on and work on my swap and get it done. So overall, I've got two really great donors here. I've got a 2003 Tahoe with 230,000 miles. I bought the whole truck running and driving for $500 as the previous owner was frustrated that the four-wheel drive didn't work and needed repairs. I've got myself a 2005 GMC Yukon that runs and drives. It just doesn't have any functioning brakes. If I really wanted to, I could combine the parts and pieces from these and make one really good driver and still have parts for my swap. But I have two good swap candidates here that I'll use myself or sell to somebody else who's trying to do a project and doesn't have the space to buy a donor vehicle themselves. Now here's the real beauty and why I personally buy a donor vehicle when I'm gonna do a swap every time. Everything else that you have. This is the Tahoe. It's got really nice interior. Leather seats, gray center console, gray door panels, parts that I see people looking for all the time. Most of the body is in decent condition. It's just got a rusty underneath and the transfer case doesn't work, like I said. I'll easily be able to sell the rest of this truck for more than I bought it for and still keep the engine. If I want to, I could sell the engine also and just profit off of the whole deal. But the point here I'm trying to make is when you have the whole donor truck and if you have the time, you can do your swap for essentially nothing. It's gonna take some of your time and a little bit of effort listing it and getting the parts to people that want them, but you're not gonna be any money out of pocket. In fact, most of the time I come out money ahead when I do it this way. So if you So the elephant in the truck that I haven't addressed yet, and I hear this all the time from people, is I have to have a 6-liter. I have to have a 6-liter. Look guys, I've been messing with these engines for a long time. From the factory, the 6-liter only made about 15 to 20 horsepower more than the 5.3. And the 5.3 only made a few horsepower more than the 4.8. So unless you're just building a full-out absolute race motor that every little tiny bit of displacement is going to be required to win, the 6-liter is going to cost you more money, more time to source at a reasonable price, and it's not going to put you ahead anything. There are millions and millions and millions of 4.8s and 5.3s still driving around every day because they made so many of them. And they came in light-duty vehicles that are disposable. The 6-liter engines came in the higher end models and the heavier duty models. Most of the heavier duty stuff, like the 25 and 3500 series pickups and SUVs, people will repair them and continue to use them because of the cost of new replacements. But the light duty, half tons, SUVs, things like that, are disposable vehicles in today's world. So people won't continue to pay to repair them, even though the engine still runs good. And that's your opportunity to scoop that donor up at a really good price and have everything you need for your swap. Okay, so if you've made it this far in the video, obviously you know that having a donor is my absolute favorite way to do a swap. And it's the way that I would really recommend it if you have the space and ability to do it. Having that donor vehicle makes sure that you have everything you need to make that engine run in your project, because you already heard it running in the current vehicle. You can assess the running condition of the engine before you buy, so you know exactly what you're getting. No surprises of getting home and hearing a rod knock the first time you start it or anything else. You know exactly the running condition of the engine. You're going to have extra parts that you can use: wiring, bolts, fasteners, clips, hoses, all kinds of stuff that will help you save money on your swap. Not to mention, if you have the space and you have the time, you can list the rest of the vehicle for parts while you're doing your swap and make a little bit of your money back. If you can buy one for like these, $500 or $600, you can probably make money on the deal and buy the other parts you need. Adapters, different bolts, other accessories. Maybe you're going to a fancier operating system, whatever it may be. But I really firmly believe that if you have the space and the ability to get the whole donor vehicle, it's going to help you out in the long run. Now again, these are my opinions. If you would like to do it a different way, by all means do so. But this is really what I think is the easiest and most affordable way to do it. And I'm trying to share with you that knowledge so that you can do your swap and go have fun with your project also. Well, that's it for this video, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I was able to shed some light for you and answer some questions and tell you what you should and should not look out for. And we'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out, and I appreciate every one of you that already have. And we'll see you again soon.